In this video, I'll be showing you how to face the Alien Gambit. So as you all know, the Alien Gambit start from Caro-Kann position. So e4, c6, and then d4, and we play d5. Knight c3 and takes the pawn, knight takes the pawn, and bringing the knight and asking this knight to take, right? Take happens, bishop can come, or maybe even queen can come, we take. We have many variations, but here is like, very sharp tactical version is knight g5 with the idea that once pawn push happens, this knight gonna sack here. So we'll push the pawn, sack, takes. This is an excellent position for black, and black has more winning chances. Black has to know the theory. Now what's going on in this particular position? If we see here that white is down by materials, but white has more central space. Black bishop is kind of stuck. This pawn is giving a great chance for this knight, and black has some serious weaknesses of a light square. So black has to be careful about his light square bishop. Shouldn't give up the light square bishop easily. And also, in just like other position of Caro-Kann, this knight has to be developed here, but this c6 pawn is taking the natural square for the knight, so we have to bring the knight here. Now it's white to move. Now white have many other options to move, like if let's suppose white comes with some force move, like bishop comes with a check. Indeed, we have to push the pawn. Knight comes up with the idea that in the next move coming with a check. Whenever we'll get a chance, if there is no check, we'll push c5 pawn and asking immediately to do something in the center. The main idea is not only pushing the pawn, attacking the pawn, but also creating square for the knight, so that knight can take, knight can cover more squares here. Now white has few moves. Now white can have a check, king goes back, white can drop the knight, and white can win the rook. We should give up the rook. We shouldn't hold the rook by lifting the rook. Rather, we should give up the rook and we should focus on our other pieces development. We can bring the knight. As I said, whenever we get a chance, we'll develop our knight and take more central control. And once knight takes rook, king takes knight, black is still up by material. And it's a great winning chances for black. So what we have to remember here, let's suppose white doesn't come up with some force move, like let's suppose this check is not gonna happen. Okay, as we know that if check happens, we have a push, but check doesn't happen. White develop the knight. Remember, this is a very sharp line. We never go with the bishop, right? If the bishop goes, white comes with a check and fork him. He's not caring about the bishop takes queen, because that's a check, and white can win the bishop, right? So this is tactical, and we have to remember. At the same time, we can't, whenever we get a chance, whenever the knight or something like this comes up, we always push the pawn. This is the first move. If there is nothing forced, this is the first move with the main idea that we develop our knight and we take more central control with the knight. Now white has some other options as well, rather bringing the bishop, rather bringing the knight. If bishop comes, we know this is a force move, we push the pawn, and if the knight comes up, we just go back, right? We know this theory. Now if the bishop doesn't come, if the knight comes, we know we shouldn't go with the bishop, as this is not force move. It is not forcing us to develop the bishop here. If the knight comes, we know that we'll push the pawn. Any other move, if it is not forced, we push the pawn, we bring the knight at c6, right? That's the idea. Now let's suppose knight is not here, rather bishop. We will go with the same idea. Same idea, it is not forced, this is not check, we'll push the pawn. Any other condition, if there is no check, we'll push the pawn. White will develop the knight, and black will again develop the knight. Now remember, in this position as well, do not go for the bishop again. Now white has now again that same move, come with a check, and your knight is only holding the bishop, right? You have to go back. Even that's a more brutal. Bishop can come, and that's a mate. No need to capture the bishop. So be careful of these tactical lines. If you go back here, white can simply capture the bishop, and black takes the knight, and white wins the material. And look at the light square. Look at the light square. White has some check. White has give up the bishop, and it's a very easy win for the white. So do not fall for this trap. All the time, whenever you will get a chance from this particular position, if it is not forced, if the knight comes up or whatever move he plays, just we develop the knight, right? We create more hold to the squares. Even in this position, if you feel that no, my queen is not doing anything, we want to develop our queen, right? What queen is doing, if you try to develop the queen and try to take more central control, and here is another brutal move, bishop comes, and that's fork. You can't capture the bishop, and you have to give up the queen. If you capture the queen, knight come with a check, you lose your queen, right? So do not fall for this all kind of trap. You just simply develop your knight first. This is the very essential move in this kind of position. Always go with the knight. If you try to dislodge with the push, and if you try to kick your knight, you just capture it now, because this is not possible anymore, because this knight check is not possible. Your knight is simply controlling that square. If you take, he can't have this check anymore, because the knight is protecting that square. So always look for that c5 pawn push followed by knight bring at c6. Yeah, this is true that in this position you are violating the opening principle, you are moving your pawn twice. But if you see this position, you have already up by materials, your opponent has more central control, your knight is far better at knight c6 rather knight d7, right? So try to look for always in this position. If you ever face the Alien Gambit, if you play Caro-Kann, if you face Alien Gambit, always play c5 and bring your knight. You will have a wonderful game. You can outplay your opponent. Now let's see. Opponent bring the knight, we bring our knight as well, white castle, and now we can easily capture the pawn and we can bring the bishop. Maybe we can have a push at the right moment. We can bring our bishop, we can connect the rook, and we'll have a wonderful game and we can win the position. Let me know, guys, if you need to know any specific line against Alien. I'll try to help you out. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you in the live stream. Bye bye.